Hello everybody, ciao a tutti, welcome to Art with Ms.B. I'm very excited because I just came back for a 3 weeks trip to Italy to visit family and friends and eat delicious food, so I feel very inspired, but I'm also very happy to be back here in my home in Utah and started to record my videos for this YouTube channel. So today lights is not amazing because it's pretty cloudy outside. Hopefully it's gonna get better later, but it's perfect because today's project is going to be a smaller and shorter project compared to the previous two videos, and it's going to be in black and white. So thankfully we don't have to really investigate and talk about colors. So remember, if you didn't do the previous two videos, actually if you're new to this channel, I really encourage you to start from the very beginning. There is an introduction about myself and what is this channel about, and there are videos based on the element of art. More or less is exactly what I do in school. I'm an art teacher and I teach elementary, middle school, and first year of high school. So I have 10 years of experience just teaching fine arts. Previously, I was just like a general education teacher. So I know that some of you might like colors more than lines, more than value, but just try to kind of, no, I don't want to say force yourself, but push yourself and keep your mind open to every practice and every project that I propose. Remember that I try to do something that is set in the middle, not the beginner, not very expert, but so you can use this video the way that you kind of prefer or according to your needs. If you are a beginner and a young student, or if you are a parent using my video to homeschool your children, try to follow and practice with me. So you will pause the video, read the description box, get the materials ready, and then practice with me. You can pause the video as many times as you need and as many times as you wish. If you're more of an advanced student, you can watch my videos, speed them up so you have an idea of what we are doing, and you can do the practice by yourself afterward, or you can still practice with me. But if you feel that you want to simplify the design that I'm proposing, or if you want to make it a little more complicated, go for it. Today's project, like it's, as I said, is about value, which is like the light and the darkness, the light and the shadow. Value is extremely important to make everything that we do, every artwork that we create, look dynamic, look, three-dimensional, give the paper some depth, some interest, even some rhythm, right? And there are many ways that we can apply the element of value. Now, the first two projects were longer practice, pretty kind of they were not complicated, but we focus on value through colors, right? Because I know that who doesn't like colors? And I think that sometimes for a teacher, it's better to introduce the element and adapt the project to the student's need than just do very formal training. For example, in value, you should get a drawing pencil, do very formal drawing exercise, but maybe depending on the level of the students, the interest that they have in art and their age, maybe the students will get completely frustrated or disconnected, and then unfortunately you will miss the target, you will miss your goal to have students understand what it is value, in this case, in fine arts. So just like this is why and this is how I kind of wrap my mind and I create the project, right? Sometimes it's not an orthodox, very formal teaching, but I know that is a very effective teaching because my students are really mastering the art standards at school and they are improving very much and very fast. So remember that the first project we did the beautiful ice cream gelatos, actually inspired by the Italian gelato, which is, maybe I'm biased, but it's a little better than the ice cream. And remember that we talk about value in colors, all the way from the lightest tone to the darkest to the lightest. And you can do with every single color in the color wheel, right? Then we did a second project where we put together and we reviewed some old elements like the composition of a still life, lines, and patterns, and we incorporate the value through color. Now, if you can see, we did the value on the vase going all the way from the lightest tone of blue to the darkest that we wanted. It's not in the absolute darkest blue, but it's the darkest tone that we wanted on this piece. We did the same doing two types of greens, light and dark. And then we just got carry on with the project and we make this page beautiful, adding patterns and having fun in decorating it. Today we're going to use a white piece of paper. If you have a thick mixed media, Bristol watercolor paper, go for it. If you don't have it, for this one, since we're using just pencil and extra fine and regular Sharpie, you can use also a regular piece of copy paper. So for this practice, and you can read it also in the description box, I repeat, extra fine Sharpie, regular Sharpie, a pencil and eraser just in case you need to erase. Okay, I'm gonna switch the camera and then we're gonna start together this project. Okay guys, here we are with our materials ready to go. A pencil, and you can use for this exercise any type of pencil because it's not a specific realistic drawing or drawing exercise for which we would have to use a drawing pencil. And for this one is just a small design, and we focus on the black and white, the contrast between positive and negative, so it's another way to introduce and understand the element of value. And then I have extra fine Sharpies and regular Sharpies. Now, if you do not have a Sharpies and you have, I don't know, a gel pen or extra fine markers or regular markers, use what you have available, okay? So we're gonna do a simple design, and then we're gonna play around and create some contrast between the inside of the design and the outside of the design, okay? And this is also very good practice, mostly for young artists and beginner, to learn how we can draw a beautiful branch with leaves and make a very simple but still effective and nice design. So follow me. The secret is that I move my hands extremely slow so I can control what I do with my pencil. And also I never push hard on the paper, because as soon as you touch the paper, you see the pencil mark, so you don't need to force it, you don't need to carve the paper. Also because if you need to erase, that is going to be extremely difficult for you. So let's go and start with a very slow, natural and organic line, which means that it's not going to be perfect. And we add some branches, some deviations to this line. Then we go back down, going back to the main line, going up, and maybe add another branch. One more here. And maybe we can create a split, like we can split the tip of our branch and go down. Maybe we can do two here to make it more interesting and more natural, right? Because natural branches are, you know, pretty symmetric sometimes, but they're not perfectly the same, right? And then we close it like that. Now, with the same pencil, we're gonna kind of close our branches, the one that we created. As you see, I'm moving my hands very slow. If you need to go even slower, go. The focus is for you to trace and embrace these beautiful natural and organic lines, which is not geometrically perfect, and focus on the pressure. The sooner you learn to moderate the pressure of your pencil on the paper, the better you will do in your practices, okay? So now we add some nice leaves, okay? And the same, we're gonna start very slowly, and leaves, you know, they don't have to be geometrically perfect, so you can actually use the same smooth organic lines that you use for the branch. Let's do one more. Let's repeat the practice. I try to always do projects that require some repetition. The repetition is good for you because it is practice. Pretend and think about when you learn a sport. At the very beginning, you might not be very good because you need practice. Then you keep practicing and practicing, which means that you keep repeating the same skills over and over. And at the end, you will notice that you're much better and you are able to master those skills, right? This is exactly what happened with art. At the beginning, results might not be excellent or exactly as we picture them in our mind. It doesn't really matter. We keep practicing and practicing, giving our best in every single project, and then we are going to create a portfolio. And at the end, we will be able to see how much better we are, right? And how deeper is our understanding of elements of art and design, of some techniques. So we are adding some like veins to make the leaves look a little more alive. You can add as many as you want. It's really up of what you like. Very light, as you can see. I'm not pressing, I'm not pushing very hard. The secret is that at the beginning, I'm telling mostly if you are, a very, very young student, the fact to go very, very light on the paper won't come easy. Don't get frustrated because it's something that happened to all of us. You are developing your fine motor skills, so you need to be proud of yourself and give yourself the time to practice. The only thing that you have to do is try your best and try to follow my instructions. So here we have the design, right? Inside the design is what we have the positive, and outside the design, if we color the outside, is what we have the negative. Now let's kind of create a sort of a shadow, right? Let's pretend that these branches is against the wall or against something and the light is sitting from this side. So we will have a cast of shadow, which is like the shadow that the subject project to the surface. So for example, we use the same type of very, very, very smooth lines to create this cast of shadow, right? It's like that we want to kind of what we would do duplicating the design. And then here it will go down like this because it's the lightest part. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to use the black Sharpie and we're going to fill this cast of shadow with the black. If you don't have a Sharpie, you can use any black. If you don't want to use markers, you can use pencil or crayons. Just be careful to step like don't color inside the design. So we are coloring outside the negative. So a very nice tip when you have to color something very precise, a specific area, you might want to outline that area. As you can see, I'm still going very slow because I don't want to rush it and I don't want to mess it up, right? So you have to kind of see where is your cast of shadow positioned and kind of outline it. I'm outlining first the cast of shadow and then you need to outline part of the design. You see? So you know that you do not have to color inside the leaf or inside the branches, but you have to color just the area that is included within the black thick lines that I'm tracing. Take your time. And if you need to go even slower, remember that you can pause the video, finish this step, and then start the video again and keep practicing with me. This is a good practice for all the students because we're basically practicing the same type of line twice. The first time with a pencil, the second time with a marker. So in one project, we have two practices, which is better, right? Now, very slowly and very carefully, we're going to color inside. When we color something, mostly now that we want to create a very modern design, showing off this cast of shadow, like this contrast, we want to make sure that we fill all the gaps. So we can go slow like this and do sort of a lines with the marker, or you can go faster and do strokes, but they need to be very, very short. If you do something like that, as you can see, the result is not going to be good. And then you have to go back over to fix it. So it's very important that we learn to do uh, to do color properly since the very beginning. So we are very satisfied. It's a very good, proper practice for us. And also we don't have to go back and retouch anything. So when we are finished, we are really, really finished. You color the first section of your castor shadow and then you keep going. Remember, do not color inside your branch, do not color inside your leaves. How do you feel about the noise of the Sharpie on a paper? So my husband hates this noise. I'm neutral, to this noise. I just know that I need it and I'm getting things done. I do love the smell of Sharpies though. That for some people is a little too strong, but I think that I guess that I'm used to. I really, really love. But what about you? Do you like it? Are you neutral about? You hate it? Does it relax you? For example, this like little scratching sound. I'm showing different way that you can do it. And once again, if you need to go slower, please go slower. Remember to breathe during your art practice. We can combine, different things when we sit together in this YouTube channel, in this virtual space. We can combine the learning, learning art and doing something creative with the mental wellness in doing something very relaxing, in stay focused and present in your body and in your mind, because you need to follow directions and you are creating something, so you will see the design getting created in front of your eyes, which is something very therapeutic in itself. So there are so many benefits when you practice art, and that we should take them all. We should consider them all. And usually for my youngest students, it comes very natural to just kind of embrace the practice and be so focused in it and get all the benefit that an art practice can give you. It's very, very easy for them. So that is our beautiful dark. You see how much, depth and movement and interest just this cast of shadow, very dark, added to our design. Now we switch to an extra fine Sharpies because we need to kind of outline our leaves, right? So we don't need to outline what we already outlines inside, but we will outline the rest of it. After you outlines, you go very slow and you try your best to go exactly over the lines that you created with a pencil. However, if that doesn't happen, remember that pencil can be erased. So once you finish and the Sharpie is dry, of course, on your paper, you can actually grab an eraser and scrub the eraser on top of it, so you will be able to just see the lines that you trace over with the Sharpie. Now, if I have to do this for, I don't know, I have to create an artwork for selling it or for exposing the piece somewhere, I would probably use the markers that are called micron. I think that I might have something in here. Now I cannot find it. But anyway, oh yes, this is a very, 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 very good brand. And they're even thinner than the Sharpies. So they will allow you to create even a more interesting pattern because you will go from a thick point to a medium point to a very, very, very extra fine point. Now, those markers are very professional and also pretty expensive. So it's really up to you and the way that you feel about your practice. If you want to kind of incorporate them and, you know, in your practice and basically invest the money in it. Now, I'm using Sharpies because I want to show that you can create beautiful projects using very basic materials, which is the materials that we use in school. And also, if you're homeschooling children, I know that, it costs a lot of money. And so I don't want you to stress yourself about the fact that in order to create art, we must have the most professional materials because it is really not true, mostly when we are learning. And actually, if we learn to work very well with these basic materials, the day that we can use a better and more professional materials, we will fly. So let's see if I can show you a little bit of difference. So this would be even finer. You see, a little really, really, really fine. And it's good if you want to just give some, if you want to add some texture, for example, to the leaves or to the branch, right? You don't want to leave it plain, but you can do the same with the same Sharpie, okay? We add some extra texture. Some more veins into the leaves. You don't have to do this. You do it just in case you feel like. It definitely creates a little like another layer of interest, right? Movement on our leaves. And then, as I told you, you can grab, let me see if I can find my little eraser. Probably I don't, but I have this one on the back. And you can go on top, just like this, erasing the lines that you might still see from when you trace them with a pencil. You clean up basically your design. Clean up the paper like that. And beautiful, look at that. Now, we could expand this cast shadow even more and make it like here and here, like, I just wanted to give you an idea. For example, now that I look at the design, I will probably bring my cast shadow like a little higher here. I will make it a little more, I would embrace the design basically a little more. Let's see what happens. You can even color the whole page black if you want to go for a very, very big contrast based on the element of value, which is once again the light and the shadow in our piece. It could be added on a realistic piece with very realistic technique, on a modern design like this one with more contemporary like technique and using maybe markers instead of drawing pencil. You can do the values, you can represent values through colors as we did in the previous two practices. So I just, I think that we got a very nice introduction to the element of value, and we had the beautiful three practices. And I think that now people really uh, understand, students, mostly young students and beginners, really understand what value is. Probably I will do the black here a little more to embrace these leaves a little more. I would probably add a little more over here to embrace the branch and the leaves better and kind of make them look like embraced by the shadow, right? The cast of shadow, which is, as we say, the reflection of the object on the surface. So this is our project for today. As I told you, it was a short one compared to the previous two practices that required a longer time. And remember, place these in your art folders. If you don't have a folder, make once, just folding a big piece of paper and just starting to gather all of your beautiful projects. If you have a pad, you can put it inside a pad. Just don't lose the project because we are building up a beautiful portfolio. I'm gonna switch the camera for saying goodbye, and then we see another time for another practice. Okay, friends, today practice was very nice, very different from the previous one because it was a black and white compared to the colorful one that we did before. As I say, if I had to teach a value in a high school class, honor class, drawing class, I would use like a more formal training, still life, geometrical shapes, a lot of exercise of shading with drawing pencil. But in this channel, as I say, this is a little like for everybody, for all ages, all levels. And I just, what I do in my school when I teach elementary students or beginner students, or even our foundations to my 7th graders, I want to be sure that the kids get engaged, get connected, embrace the practice, they don't get stressed, frustrated, or bored. So sometimes I'd rather pick a little simpler, if we want to put it this way, practice a little more modern and contemporary than a very formal and intense training. Of course, when students are older and they pick purposely art classes, means that they are ready to push that practice and that knowledge a little further. And then, of course, the training and the teaching is going to be more formal. So we will really have to do a lot of realistic drawing exercise, a lot of shading exercise, and so on and on. But in this video, I just want to make sure that people can understand the element, no matter what is their background, their age, their level, they experience with art. So this was the last video, I think video 13, about value. And then we will go on exploring other elements. I will also have a little surprise because I'm thinking of doing a 4 or 5 video of mindful practices. So stay in touch. Please, if you didn't subscribe to my channel, consider to subscribe, spread the words if you like it, if you want to support it. Make sure that you put the like on the video. Sometimes when I do my yoga classes, I have followed a couple of YouTube channels and I always forget, but then I go back on and I just put like, just because it's a good feedback for us, for whoever does the video, to understand if people are receiving it correctly, if they are liking it, if they are using it for their practice. So please, please, please like the video, spread the words, subscribe to my channel, leave comments if you have any question, and I will do my best to answer you like in a reasonable time. And I see you next week for another video. Ciao!